The Fee de Marbourg is a medium-sized species of domesticated rabbits. The Fee de Marbourg can be classified as a rabbit that is medium in terms of its overall size. Its length varies, but it is most likely somewhere between 4 and 7 pounds in terms of weight. Similar to its length, the weight varies depending on where you get your rabbit, and on the type of diet it is used to. Similar to Havana, the species from which the Fee de Marbourg can trace its roots, this bunny is expected to have a large head that is plump and round instead of long compared to the other species of rabbits. The Fee de Marbourg also has ears that are not too long and are generally shorter than the length of its head. Meanwhile, you can expect the Fee de Marbourg to have a rather stout appearance. These chubby rabbits will more than likely be round and plump regardless of whether they are quite active or not. What gives the Fee de Marbourg its distinctive appearance and its popularity is its color. It may have the same kind of appearance as some other types of rabbits like Havana or the lilac, but its color is actually quite unique. It does not feature the jet black color that Havanas have or the pinkish hue that dominates the lilac. Personality. Fee de Marbourgs, due to how used they are to a lifestyle under captive care, are domesticated rabbits that are actually really great as pets. They were specifically bred to be pet rabbits instead of having them live in the wild. As such, it only follows that they are already used to having personalities that fit the type of pet rabbit that most households would want to have. In terms of its overall personality and behavior, the Fee de Marbourg is actually quite friendly and approachable. They are almost never too shy whenever you try to handle them or socialize with them because their species are so used to interacting with humans due to their nature as domesticated pets. In that sense, they are not like rabbits that were caught in the wild or are used to the wild, as such rabbits usually have a shy and defensive nature due to how they try to live a kind of life that is more or less discreet to avoid getting detected by predators. The Fee de Marbourg rabbits, because of how closely related they are to Havana, are very sweet when it comes to bonding with their humans. They will most likely show their extra sweet side when they are given a chance to properly socialize with the people around them. Lifespan. There is not a lot of information about how long the Fee de Marbourg gets to live. However, you can actually draw out a general conclusion regarding its lifespan, due to its close genetic resemblance to Havana, and because of its identity as a rabbit that is meant to live a domesticated lifestyle. Fee de Marbourgs are more than likely going to live longer than rabbits that are used to the wild because they have adapted themselves to life under captive care. Moreover, they are not as exposed to life-threatening conditions and factors such as parasites, diseases, deforestation, and predators as those who live in the wild. And like Havana, you can expect the Fee de Marbourg to be able to live for about 5 to 8 years depending on how well it is taken care of and how healthy its diet is. It can even be reasonable for you to expect to live for about 10 years. Reproduction. The Fee de Marbourg's behavior during reproduction is more or less the same as other domesticated types of rabbits that are native to the European continent. They are receptive to mating during a certain period every 14 to 16 days. Medium-sized rabbits tend to be sexually mature at around 4 to 5 months. They can get pregnant and give birth multiple times in a single calendar year. Behavior. Fee de Marbourgs tend to have a sense of liveliness in the way they behave. While they are generally well-behaved pet rabbits, they are fond of roaming around indoors when you let them out of their cage. Their friendly nature and their general tendency to stay quiet-behaved prevents them from doing anything that is close to raucous behavior, but they do love playing and roaming around their environment when given the chance to do so. They will run around the room and may even do a few hops here and there to let some team out. You may actually engage in some playtime moments with the Fee de Marbourg because of how friendly and playful these rabbits are. One of the best ways to play with them is to give them a good scratching behind their ears or on the head. Fee de Marbourgs also enjoy playing with toys from time to time. This rabbit is most probably going to have an entertaining time playing with a few toys here and there, but the number of toys they need to stay entertained usually depends on its personality. The same can be said about the type of toy you should give it. Eating habits. Fee de Marbourgs should thrive well in a diet that is about 60 to 70% hay or grass. If you can get your hands on hay of good quality, then your rabbit will have most of its nutritional needs covered. The rest of your Fee de Marbourg's calorie intake should be made up of other nutritious food. Always remember that the Fee de Marbourg is strictly a herbivore and will only feed on anything that is leaf-based or on fruits and vegetables. In that regard, it is best to make sure that the rest of the rabbit's daily calorie intake should be made up of healthy leafy greens, fruits, and vegetables. When feeding your Fee de Marbourg with vegetables and leafy greens, be extra careful with the type of green that you feed it because there are some vegetables such as lettuce, which can eventually be harmful to your rabbit when given in quantities that are more than enough. Beans, potatoes, and cabbage can also be harmful to your Fee de Marbourg. Also, giving them too many fruits can also be harmful in the long run because of how sugary they are. The Fee de Marbourg is similar to any type of pet in the sense that it will always require a fresh batch of clean water in its regular habitat. The best way to make sure that the water stays fresh is to make use of a fountain-like hydration system that keeps the water away from outside exposure. However, if you cannot get your hands on one, a regular water dish should do just fine, but always keep an eye on the water in case it gets dirty. When cleaning the water dish, always make sure that you also sanitize it thoroughly to minimize the growth of bacteria and other harmful organisms. Habitat. When it comes to your Fee de Marbourg's habitat, you do not necessarily have to be extra picky. A normal or regular rabbit cage that is made out of a combination of wood as its base and metal for the screens can be good enough for your pet. The cage should have some sort of translucent screen opening to allow for more air to flow in and out of the habitat. You may opt for a cage that has a screen on at least two sides to make sure that airflow is really good. The size of the Fee de Marbourg's cage can be something that is quite interesting to look at depending on how lively and active your rabbit is. As some of these rabbits do have the tendency to become quite playful, you may opt for a cage that has enough space to promote playfulness. The Fee de Marbourg can thrive well in a habitat that is at least 3 feet long and perhaps 1.5 feet wide. In some cases, an outdoor enclosure might be a good idea, as these rabbits can also do well outdoors. An outdoor enclosure is best made out of wood and wire and should be high enough to prevent the rabbit from hopping out of its cage so easily. The good thing about an outdoor enclosure is that the Fee de Marbourg will have enough sunlight and natural air to enjoy and will also most likely have enough space to roam around. However, it can also be more susceptible to the elements if kept in an outdoor enclosure. Taking care of Fee de Marbourg. The good thing about the Fee de Marbourg is that it is quite easy to care for because of how it was specifically bred to become a household pet for almost any kind of family. Its demeanor is suitable for a pet that is domesticated, as it can easily stay friendly towards its owner and its family. This rabbit is also quite playful but not too active or energetic. As such, as long as you give it the right kind of attention and so long as you socialize with it properly, it will stay happy and will have a friendly demeanor. In terms of the food you should give it, the Fee de Marbourg will thrive well on a diet that is composed mainly of hay but should also be supplemented with fruits and vegetables that are safe for it to consume. It really is similar to any kind of rabbit in terms of its overall care and diet. There almost is nothing that sets it apart from Havana and its other closely related domesticated rabbit in terms of the minimum care it needs. If you enjoyed this video, kindly press the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe with notifications on, so that you don't miss out on videos like this. Thank you for watching.